this is the scene in Nottingham this evening, and it is Old Market Square, and it is packed, and the Lord Mayor of Nottingham is speaking, so let's just have a listen.
This has been a very sad week for our city. The events today were a tragedy, and so it is important that we all come together and support each other at this difficult time. We have lots of people who would like to say a few words and to pay their respects. Can I start by inviting the leader of the council, David Mellon, to the stage? Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for gathering here in the middle of Nottingham. It is important that we stand shoulder to shoulder as we respond to the shocking violence witnessed in our streets this week. We stand with the families and friends of two of our students, Grace and Barnaby, who've had their lives cut short at a time when they should have been celebrating the completion of their first year of studies at Nottingham University. We also stand with the family and colleagues of one of our public servants, Ian, who's also lost his life after many years of serving several schools in our city as their site manager. We also stand with those who were injured in the city centre early on Tuesday morning, who are being treated in hospital, and with those who are caring for them. We stand with our education community, one of our universities and one of our schools who are in shock after this attack on students and a member of staff. To you, I say this: the attack on you is an attack on us all. We stand with colleagues in the police and the emergency services who responded so swiftly on that terrible morning and who now continue with the ongoing investigation. We stand with those in our transport services, with council staff doing so many different roles, seen and unseen, and for those who are providing support and reassurance to our city community at this difficult time. And as the cameras of our country's media channels are focused on our city this week, as the leader of the council here, I want to thank you, the people of Nottingham, for your support and solidarity this week. From those who early on Tuesday morning didn't cross the road, didn't avoid the situation, but ran to the support of those who had shockingly been mown down, tending to their needs. And to those who have offered comfort and support, sometimes with no words, because there are few words to say at a time like this. For those of you who have cared and shared the grief of our communities this week, I thank you. It is fitting that we gather today to share our sadness and our loss, and to remember the three people who died. As with all tragic events, we can choose to express our grief individually, in our own way, or we can join together collectively to share that burden. It is right that we have the opportunity to be together at this difficult time. And as the leader of the council, I'm here to say you do not carry this burden alone. I'm grateful that we have members of the British Red Cross and Salvation Army here in the crowd who are available to talk to anyone who struggled to process these awful events. And as Grace's father said so movingly yesterday, we all need to look out for each other and look after each other at this time. Nottingham is a great city, and a city where the events that we have seen this week shock us because they are so unusual. They are not in our ordinary experience. We have a city that is safe and welcoming, where people can go about their business without fear on a day-to-day basis, and we must not allow fear to grip our streets and be the dominant emotion here. I'm grateful to our partners who have stood together for Nottingham. Many of you are here tonight, and we'll hear from some of you in a moment. I'm grateful to our faith leaders for not only being here, but also for opening your buildings to those who are mourning this week, and for leading us in our prayers in Nottingham. This week has been awful for those of you who have lost loved ones. It will, of course, take time to come to terms with your loss, if it ever is possible to get over something so terrible. But we stand together with you. Thank you, Nottingham, for coming together this evening. Let's continue to care for each other in the days to come. Thank you.
I'll now call upon Ross Middleton, Head Teacher of Huntingdon Academy. Thank you, Ross.
Good evening, everybody. Ian was the site manager, our site manager at Huntingdon Academy in St Anne's, a community the team and I are proud to serve. We had worked with Ian for 7 years, and like in any place of work, had been through births, deaths, weddings, and of course the COVID pandemic, where Ian played a crucial role in keeping our children and colleagues safe. Thank you, Ian. Ian looked after people, assisting in any way possible, and always put the children first. I'll never forget how excited he was putting plans together and then creating his show-stopping Christmas displays, which never failed to wow and impress everybody that saw them. In recent weeks, he had helped Year 3 with their sewing project and created castles for the children's reading corners to make them even more engaging. He was full of fun with a mischievous glint in his eye, particularly when joining in with the Year 6 summer water fight. His time, commitment, and caring nature endeared him to the whole school community, and we will all remember him with great affection. My abiding memory of Ian will be the great deal of time he spent with his beloved grandson, and how he looked at his grandson with such love and pride. Ian, you did a great job there. Rest in peace, Ian, and of course, I'll keep an eye out on Forest results for you. Thank you.
Can I now call upon Professor Shira West, together with the Reverend Grant Walton, Chaplain of the University and Vice Chancellor of the University.
Thank you very much, Mel. Lord Mayor, Councillor Mellon, people of Nottingham, thank you, everybody, for attending this important vigil for communities across the city. Today we are together, united in our shock and our grief, to remember all those who've lost their lives or were injured in Tuesday's attacks. It remains hard to find words to express the sadness and bewilderment felt across our city and far beyond at the senseless loss of lives. Ross has just told us about Ian Coates, who was a devoted father and grandfather and a respected member of the caretaking staff at Huntingdon Academy. 4 months from retirement, he was an avid fisherman who used his sport to divert underprivileged young people away from crime. Grace O'Malley Kumar was a medical student, thriving in her first year of study and inspired to a career in medicine through her volunteering for the vaccination program during the COVID pandemic. She was a talented sportswoman, playing hockey and cricket at national level. Barney Webber was a history student, where his tutors recall his energy. He was fun, he was friendly, he was full of life in his seminars. And he too excelled in sport as well as studies, playing hockey, rugby, and cricket for his school and local clubs. All three of these lives were cut short in the most unimaginable way on Tuesday morning. Their well-earned retirement plans and bright futures brutally curtailed by a seemingly random act of violence. At the university, we held our own vigil yesterday with Barney and Grace's families to remember them and mourn their loss. I was overwhelmed by the love and support that was offered to the families by more than 2,000 students and staff that had gathered together as a community. Although seemingly unconnected to these dreadful acts, we are still in the university trying to process the information that the suspect in custody was a former student. Today, I stand here as the leader of a university which is immensely proud to be part of the city we call home. Today, I stand together with our students and staff in support of everyone affected by this tragedy. And today, I stand with all communities in Nottingham in defiance of the senseless act of violence. Against this backdrop of the deepest sadness and loss, I hope in time we can draw some comfort from the thousands of messages of support and condolences received locally, nationally, and globally in response to this dreadful tragedy. The people of Nottingham know that this is not what our city is about, and we will not let this single horrifying event define who we are and what we stand for. Our communities are united in grief, but we will draw upon the enormous strength of every one of us as citizens and our pride in our city as we come together to recover and start the long journey to heal. I'd like to hand over now to our chaplain, Grant, who will also say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Shira, and good evening, everybody. Since I had the privilege of relocating to Nottingham myself a little over 5 years ago, I have encountered numerous people who have told me the same thing. They came here as students or on work contracts, and they loved the city so much, they decided to come back and settle permanently. I've also spoken to many current University of Nottingham students who tell me that their desire is to remain in Nottingham once they graduate. This is a place of vibrant communities, of hopefulness and faith. It's a place where people stand together to confront challenges, to grow stronger through them. It's a place that we are privileged to enjoy the energetic liveliness that accommodating so many young people brings. But there is no doubt that the horrific events of the last 2 days will have changed us, both as individuals and collectively, in ways that we have yet to discover. We most certainly do not anticipate waking up one bright Tuesday morning to be confronted with the traumatic, violent, and needless loss of 2 of our students, Grace and Barney, of a wonderful community-minded man, Ian Coates, and of the serious injury of innocent people on their way to work. Our hearts and prayers reach out to the families and friends of those who are mourning and coping with the devastation. And although we should not be quick to gloss over the implications of all of this for our city and its communities, right now we must grieve and express our shock honestly and openly with all its range of emotions, thoughts, and feelings. We must talk about those we have lost and verbalize our reactions to one another. But the time will come when we must also do the difficult work of sorting through the aftermath so that we ourselves and our city may continue to become the kind of people and place that we want to be. On behalf of all the chaplains at the University of Nottingham, may I express our commitment to walk this journey ahead with students, university staff, and all the members of our wider community. Thank you.
Can I now call upon Alex Norris MP?
Good evening, everybody. My name's Alex Norris. I'm Member of Parliament for the North of the City. I speak on behalf of my colleagues Lillian Greenwood and Nadia Whittam. We are united in our grief, our sadness and our shock at what we've seen this week. We, like everyone, I think, here, are not used to waking up to see such devastating news about our city, the place we all love so much, leading the news for all the wrong reasons, and to see the loss of 3 much-loved members of our community who, in their own ways, made such an impact and an impression. And our thoughts are with those who've lost their lives, our thoughts are with their families, and our support for them in their challenging days, weeks, months and years ahead. We must all be there for them, and our thoughts with those who are injured, and we hope for their swiftest recovery. I want to say a few words on behalf of the community of Bulwell for Ian Coates. It's seen in recent days, if any of you are from the north of the city, I suspect there's quite a few of you, that everybody seems to have a story from their time at Bulwell Academy or Riverleen School about a way in which Ian touched their lives, and over those years, those thousands of lives touched, whether it was children locked in toilets, whether it was footballs taken down off roofs, even for a member of the council, that happened multiple times, I've been told. Whether it was, and this I found particularly poignant, multiple young men who said they were really struggling at school, who said that they felt that school wasn't understanding them, who said that they weren't finding their place in the world, and that Ian took the time to speak to them, to be honest with them, but to be kind and to listen to them and to help them make their way through their school life and their life more generally. What an extraordinary gift to the world that is. And then, of course, as we've heard, to many of those young people, passing on his love of fishing, giving up his own time, his own money, so that he could pass that love on to others and give them that wonderful outlet. What, an incredible impression he's made on our city, and one that will not be forgotten. And what we've seen is senseless, and trying to make sense seems so hard. But Ian's life is the opposite of that. His was selfless. It was full of love for his family, love for his football team, well represented here today, love for his community, love for those who needed it. And that spirit is one that we must take forwards from today. And what I look over is an extraordinary scene. We're only ever all together like this in Market Square, generally when it's good news, something good in sport or in music. And it's terrible to think that this has brought us together in this way, united in grief. But I hope that that gives a little bit of hope for all of us for the future, because what comes in the days, weeks and months ahead is going to be very, very difficult, and we are going to need each other. The families are going to need our support. So love wins. Love always wins. Sometimes it feels like that might not be the case, but love always wins. And we'll deal with this as we deal with everything. Nottingham together. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Caroline Henry, our Police and Crime Commissioner. Thank you, Caroline.
Our wonderful city has been shocked by this tragic incident, and our thoughts are with the loved ones of those who've been killed, Barnaby, Grace and Ian. It's also affected a number of people who were injured or who witnessed these horrific attacks. Help and support is available for them all through Nottinghamshire Police and the Nottinghamshire Victim Care Service. Nottingham is world-renowned for its welcoming, friendly and warm people. Lots of people come here and fall in love with our city. It's a vibrant social scene, 2 world-class universities that attract people from all around the globe to come here to Nottingham. It was particularly poignant when I attended an attestation of university students on Tuesday night this week. It was at our headquarters. 7 budding volunteer special police constables pledged to join and serve Nottinghamshire Police. And actually, they couldn't wait to join our force and to serve the public in coming days. It's really important at times like this we come together as a city. And the vigils held across Nottingham show that community is united. I was at the vigil last night at University of Nottingham, where the fathers of Barnaby and Grace, who I can see today, gave the most moving speeches about how much their children love Nottingham and appealed to everybody to show love and to look out for each other. Although there were thousands of people present last night, and actually, like tonight, everyone just stood silent. You could hear a pin drop. Last night, the only noise that punctuated the sound of silence was a police siren sounding in the distance as our hard-working professional police team still continue to deliver their round-the-clock public service to keep people safe. At times like this, you can't fail to recognise the incredible work of our emergency services, who are always there for us in our hour of need. My message to the public now is to have faith in our fantastic Nottinghamshire Police Force and remain patient as they tirelessly work to investigate the incident through the criminal justice process. We've talked a lot about love tonight. It's so important. There is no place for hate in the healing process. It's important that we remain united and come back stronger from this tragedy as Nottingham together.
Thank you, Caroline. In a minute, we're going to have a moment of silence. We'll start that silence when the clock behind us sounds for 6 o'clock, and after the 6th ring for the hour, we will be silent for a minute. But we've got a few minutes yet before that. You might be standing with loved ones. You might be standing with people you don't know at all. And I just want you, just for a couple of minutes, just to say hello to the people around you, to wish them well, to join together as we mourn this awful tragedy this week. And then when the clock starts to sound, if we can then regain some peace and some quiet, ready for that minute's silence. Thank you very much.
So this is another vigil taking place in the city of Nottingham, another vigil in the sunshine, but these truly are dark days for this city, grim days for this city after those events of Tuesday. This is the city centre, Old Market Square. As you can see, hundreds of people gathered again. The council leader said we join together to share this burden. You do not shoulder this burden alone. And then he spoke about Nottingham, which he called a great city. These events shock us, he said, because they are so unusual in this city. And then he said we must not allow fear to grip our streets. And we heard from the head teacher of the academy, Huntingdon Academy, where Ian Coates, who also was killed, was caretaker. And the head teacher said that Ian looked after people and always looked after the children first. We all remember him with great affection. And he said his fondest memory of him was him with his grandchild, he said, who he deeply loved. And then we heard from the Vice-Chancellor of the university, where a vigil took place last night, and she spoke about the 2 students who were killed. Grace O'Malley Kumar, thriving as a medical student, she said, and a talented sportswoman. And Barnaby Webber, history student, and also excelling in sports. And she said, we will not let these events define who we are or define this city. Well, our reporter Becky Cottrell is with me, who's just told me she was born in the city of Nottingham. And Becky, this really is a city coming together.
Yeah, and Old Market Square is literally and spiritually, you know, at the centre of the city. It's famed for its stone lions. You can't see them now because of all the people there, but this is certainly a fitting place to hold a vigil like this. And you can see how many people have turned out, clearly wanting to come and be together at this time. Oh. And you heard the leader of the council say just then that before the minute's silence, he wants people in the square to just turn to the people next to them and reflect on what's happened and kind of share the sense of community, because they need to hold on to it right now. We've heard a lot said about, you know, this violence does not represent Nottingham. And I think that that's what this is about, really. You know, a lot of these people will not ever have met the victims, but they'll be mourning their loss and also feeling potentially quite fearful about what's happened. And they'll just want to come together and remember that there is a lot of humanity in this place too.
And a lot of students at the Vigil, obviously, at the university last night, a lot of students, it seems, here as well. And I spoke to the MP when I was up in Nottingham on Tuesday, and she said students are the heart and soul of this city.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of students, because obviously there are two big universities in Nottingham, and people do stay on there. My own mother stayed on after studying in Nottingham. And, you know, the students won't necessarily have families there, of course, because they've moved to the area. So for them, the student community is their community, and I'm sure they'll want to be together right now.
Becky, thank you very much for the moment. And the bells are sounding in Nottingham city centre, and they're preparing for a minute's silence, which is about to take place right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm now going to invite representatives of Nottingham's faith communities to come forward onto the stage and to each say a few words in turn. I'm inviting Pastor Dr. Ezekiel Aluwale from the majority black-led churches. I'm inviting Gurcharan Manku from the Sikh community in Nottingham, Rajesh Sharma, the Hindu community in Nottingham, Shajuat Aslam, Chair of the Nottingham Council of Mosques, Rabbi Gilly Zidikayu, Nottingham Liberal Synagogue, the Right Reverend Patrick McKinney, the Catholic Bishop of Nottingham, and the Right Reverend Paul Williams, the Bishop of Southwell and Nottingham for the Anglican community.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nottingham Majority Black-led Churches wish to express our deepest condolences and sympathies to the families and friends of the 3 victims of the horrendous and tragic attack in our city of Nottingham. It is unimaginable the pain and the grief that the families of the young students who had so much to live for, and our dear caretaker, who was simply doing his job for our community, must be going through. Our prayers are with you all. May the Lord comfort all grieving hearts. We know that Nottingham is a tolerant, welcoming, friendly, and peaceful city. So this attack is even more shocking. And we fully condemn evil acts of violence. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge the hard work, the dedication of Nottinghamshire police. We've been working tirelessly together to ensure safety, security of our community. We are grateful for their promptness, bravery, and commitment in keeping a safe life. The majority black-led churches pledge our commitment to work together with the police to rid the community of such evil acts. Together, we will overcome these difficult times and make a safer for all. We stand in solidarity with all people of goodwill and pray for the healing and unity of our city, Nottingham. We are here to stand together with each other during this sad time. We call for everyone, whatever our background, to stand together in this moment of sorrow and grief. As the Nottingham Majority Black-led Churches, we pray that the light of love, peace, and healing will be foremost in our hearts and minds to ensure that nothing like this will fall on our city again. May God bless us all. Amen.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gacharan Singh Manku. I'm a trustee at one of the 7 Gurdwaras, places of worship in Nottingham. It is truly incomprehensible that this great city, many of us call home, has lost 3 wonderful people in such a devastating and horrible way. Barnaby Webber, Grace, O'Malley Kumar, and Ian Coates were simply going about their daily business when their lives were taken. It is sad, so sad, that one person can make such a devastating impact on so many lives. From all 7 Gurdwaras and the Sikh community of Nottingham, we reach out with our thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of all those affected by the events on Tuesday, Barnaby, Grace, and Ian especially. This is our city, a great city, and we thank and commend its wonderful people. All of you are here today doing the right thing in supporting all of those affected by the events Tuesday morning. Thank you. Good evening.
Namaste. Om Shanti 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 Om. Om is a universal word that resonates and connects one with your inner self and with the universe. At this difficult time, chanting Om will hopefully bring inner peace to those suffering. Hinduism also teaches us that our way of life by following certain principles and following them. One of the principles is that death is inevitable. It is going to all of us one day, and we must be prepared for it. May it bring some comfort to the families and friends of the departed souls that Lord Shiva will give moksha and abode in his kingdom to Grace, Barnaby and Ian, and also to the family of the departed souls, the Almighty, may he give them strength to cope with their precious losses. At this time, as it's been said, we stand united. Hinduism says we are one community, we are one humankind on this earth. We must live as a harmonious community. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to begin chanting Om. But just before that, may I please ask each of you to speak positively, to give the positive vibes and positive messages to the families of the dear departed, and the community of Nottingham, that we get through this difficult period. Also, I would like you in unity to hold hands, if you wish, with the person next to you. I'll give you a moment to do that. Then I will ask you to join me in chanting Om for as long as you can. So, okay. Om. Thank you.
So on behalf of the Nottingham Muslim community, and I offer my deepest and sincerest sorrow at your untimely, tragic and unimaginable loss that you must be going through. It's at times like this, at death, at bereavement, you realise no one talks about what was the house of the deceased person, what car did they drive. These things don't matter. All that matters was their values, their behaviours, their interaction with each other, and the impact they had on the lives of many others. And when you look at the so many positive things that have been written about the deceased individuals, you get an amazing picture of individuals that were giving, that were caring, and that's really what matters. And this is really what stays, this is their legacy. Their impact on students, on sports societies, on school kids. Where do you stop? If I was to pick out one thing that stuck out in my mind of a behaviour or an action or impact, what would stick out? What would your takeaway be? For me, it was where I think Ian's son mentioned that Dad was an avid fisherman and he would take disadvantaged kids with him fishing. I mean, that says so much about a person, doesn't it? To keep them away from a life of crime. He cared for those kids, and those kids will always have memory and love for that individual. So a murderer may have been able to take away the lives of 3 individuals, but he can never take away the love and the memories that stays in the hearts of the loved ones and all of us today. Because values of goodness and kindness will always prevail, will always prevail. It always has done, it always will do. What else, if I was to just end, what else do you take away from these individuals? was their profound love for Nottingham. It was so touching yesterday to hear the parents of Grace and Barnaby describing how the kids didn't want to leave Nottingham. And it hurt so much as a parent whose kids go to university as well, that we weren't able to look after their kids as our kids are looked after. That hurts so much as parents. They sent their kids here, and unfortunately we weren't able to look after them. But it was their love for Nottingham. Ian was described as a lifelong Nottingham Forest football fan. Their love of Nottingham resonates. So how do we honour their memory and their legacy? By being the best version of ourselves each day, today and every day, in our behaviours, in our interactions, in our impact, and in our community. We show everyone, we show the world, Nottingham truly is one Nottingham. We come together as one community, caring, compassionate, hurt, but together, feeling that immense, immense loss of our beloved 3 individuals that have sadly lost their lives. Thank you.
Shalom. I am Rabbi Gilly from Nottingham Liberal Synagogue. I would like to share with you the words of Rabbi Sheila Schulman. We recognize that each of us is not so much a person as a world, or rather a bearer in her of a world, a unique, irreplaceable, populated world, linked by a myriad threads to other such worlds. And that if, when someone dies who has been a part of our life, there is a rent in the universe, like a star vanishing, but that like a star vanishing, that world leaves ineradicable traces in us as a star does in space, so that we mourn, but we remember. And we know that there will be a living trace of that person in our consciousness always. Let us remember the people we have lost, and let us remember the unique, irreplaceable worlds that we all are.
Many things are possible for the person who has hope. Even more is possible for the person who has faith. And still more is possible for the person who knows how to love. But everything is possible for the person who practices all 3 virtues. Pope Francis has spoken of the essential role that hope plays in all our lives. He says that while hope is a silent and a humble virtue, it is that supports us in times of difficulty, such as these, brings us peace. I bring the prayers of the Catholic community, particularly to the families of those who have lost their lives. I end with these words from St. Paul's letter to the Romans, as encouragement to them, but as encouragement to all of us here in this city of Nottingham. Let love be genuine. Hate what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another. Outdo one another in showing respect. Rejoice. Be patient in suffering. Persevere in prayer. Contribute to the needs of each other and extend hospitality to the stranger. In spite of the horrific events that have greatly affected the people of our city, let us ask God this evening and in the days to come for the spiritual help we will need to be once again people of deep hope. Thank you.
My name is Bishop Paul. I'm the Church of England Bishop for Sutherland, Nottingham, for this great city. And along with Bishop Patrick, on behalf of many Christian churches of other denominations all across this city, things dramatically changed for this city, and especially for the lives of those who were so cruelly bereaved as a consequence of this unfolding in the early hours of Tuesday morning. And this is a quite extraordinary sight, but it is what this city does. It comes together. And we stand together today on an occasion where we would, of course, far rather not have had a reason to be here, not a reason like this. And I'm sure that that is felt more deeply and intensely than we could possibly imagine for those family members and friends who come together with us today to grieve and to grieve. And even after the shock and the outpouring of grief these past 2 days, we need to say that Nottingham is not about to simply move on. And in one sense, we never will. But we are moving in, pressing in, to hold one another more closely, to strengthen bonds of love, to keep stepping over invisible barriers that sometimes may threaten to divide us, moving in to comfort those whose grief is too heavy to ever bear alone. And as Nottingham, standing together today, we say to the family and friends of Grace O'Malley Kumar, Barnaby Webber, and Coates, we will not forget you. This city will not forget you. And we will never cease to pray for you. As churches across Nottingham, we're very thankful to play our part in this extraordinary, creative, and deeply compassionate city. We do so in moments of triumph, and we do so in times of unbelievable tragedy, as we have done this week. And I've been deeply moved to spend most of the last 3 days at St. Peter's, just a short distance from here, as hundreds of people of all ages have come into that building to pray, to weep, to light a candle. People of all faiths and none, as has been the case in churches all around the city here. And so, may God strengthen the hearts that are so very broken. And may Christ Jesus bring healing to our city. Come, Holy Spirit. And I close with the ancient words that have often been prayed over the centuries in this city. Prayer for us all tonight. Keep watch, dear Lord, with those who work or watch or weep this night. Give your angels charge over those who sleep. Tend the sick. Lord Christ, give rest to the weary. Bless the dying. Soothe the suffering. Pity the afflicted. Shield the joyous. And all for your love's sake. And may that love now continue to grow as we stand together in this city. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to hear from members of the family of the people that we have lost. And first of all, we're going to hear from Ian's family.
just want to offer our condolences and support to the family of Barnaby. Station we never thought we'd feel, and obviously they're going through the same thing that we are. Anything they need from us, we're happy to support you need. I also want to thank everybody that's given the kind words about my dad over social media, over the news, in person. It feels like he's touched a lot of hearts over the years, more than what we assumed and knew that he had. So it's been really nice and heartwarming to see the messages and the people come out and talk about how he was when they were younger and how he's helped them. Some beautiful comments. We just wanted to say a quick thing, like we're still dealing with what's happened, we still haven't took it all in. So we just wanted to say a few things. Just like, my dad was an avid fisherman, he loved his family, and he also loved his forest. You read? You read. You read.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now hear from Barnaby's family.
Good evening. This here. Thank you. Thank you. Be really chuffed with this, so I'm going to give it to brother Charlie. The 7 pages long, but I wrote big and I'll talk fast. Barnaby Philip John Webber was born on the 11th of January in 2004. And I want you to know that because he is more than a victim of a senseless murder. He loved pesto pasta, but he hated cottage pie. He was obsessed with aeroplanes, and he still carried the dream of being a pilot in the RAF one day. I'm not sure, really, how a history degree from Nottingham was part of that plan, but perhaps he wanted to fly Spitfires. He's been away from his younger brother, Charlie, who, despite being 3 years and 8 months younger than him, is considerably taller, as you can see. Barnaby pretended to be cool with this, but right, Rory? He really wasn't. He hated it. That said, despite the ribbing, the play fighting, the occasional competitiveness, and far too many swear words, Barnaby, he so adored you. And he was so, so proud of you. Nottingham, he really loved you. Like he really, really loved you. And like yesterday, and David said, we couldn't bloody get him home half the time. When he was accepted on his place to study here in only August of last year, he was so bloody chuffed. He loved reading history, but I think actually he loved being part of the cricket team more. To his teammates, I can see you. We thank you for all you have done to remember him already, and I know you have so much more planned. Oh, his shirt number was 56, by the way. So today, we stand here and we feel your love, and we're united in grief and shock and disbelief. And one day we will smile again, but it will take time. And we took time this morning, David, Charlie had some of the tributes that were left up at the University of Nottingham. And there was one letter that I have to make mention to. It was double-sided, big sheet of A4, written really beautifully by an individual. I don't know if it was a male or a female, but this person, it was an outpouring of love and support and confusion and anger and grief. And this person said in this letter, I don't know what to do. I have to write this because I have no friends. I have no one to talk to. But if you want to come and talk to me, I will be waiting on the terrace. And I didn't read that until this morning. But if you get this message from me, then I feel your love, and you do have friends, because you have friends in us. Okay? Thank you. It's not my place to talk about the other victims, Ian and Grace, but do know that we as a family are really grieving for you as well. The monstrous individual who has shattered life will not define us, and I know he will receive the retribution that he deserves. However, this evil person is just that. He is just a person. Please hold no hate that relates to any colour, sex, or religion. And so, my beautiful, beautiful boy, you have mine, your dad and your brother's heart forever. Barney, as Phoebe says, 224. I know silence is the traditional sign to show respect, and we've had that tonight. But as I finish, and you've so kindly done this, for you to do one more thing, to show us an enormous round of applause for everyone affected by this tragedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grace's family.
Hello, Nottingham. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing your love for our babies. Be patient with us. We all want to say a little something. But what I want to say is that my beautiful baby girl, she wasn't just beautiful on the outside. You must have seen her pictures across the media. She was so beautiful on the inside. She was a treasured and adored child. She wanted very few things in life. She wanted to be a doctor. She wanted to play hockey with her pals. She wanted to have fun, because that's what all students want. They want to enjoy themselves. And all they were doing was walking home. They were just walking home after a night out. And like Emma Webber says, this person must face justice. It just is truly so unfair. But I'll echo what my husband said yesterday. Be kind to each other, look after each other. Don't have hate in your hearts. Say prayers for my baby girl. I can't say any more, but she did love Nottingham. I will say one more thing, just one more thing. Grace loved Nottingham, but she's not from Nottingham. And Barnaby loved Nottingham, but he's not from Nottingham either. We're from different parts of the UK. Grace from the southeast, Greater London, and Barnaby from the south, from Somerset, Taunton. And there's a huge communities down there also needing help. Their schools, their friends, their families. So it's not just Nottingham grieving, but the magnitude of the grief reflects the magnitude of the love we had for her. Thank you.
As Grace's younger brother, I just want to thank everyone here for coming to remember the lost lives of our loved ones, Barney, Grace and Ian, and my family, especially for flying over, means the most. Grace wasn't only just a sister to me, she was a best friend of mine, my mother, my father, all her friends, and all her family. And if there's only one message that comes out of this, I urge you all to cherish every moment you spend with your loved ones, as you just never know when it will end. Thank you.
I really mean it when I say thank you for taking times out of your busy lives to be here and share some grief with us. That really is powerful. And I really thank literally each and every one of you who's taken the time. Thank you so much, it means so much. We were 4, and we are now 3. And the same for Barney's family. They were 4, and they're now 3. I speak to you as a broken-hearted father. I loved my Grace more than I loved anything. And I'm trying to be as strong as I can. Forgive me. There are people in hospital as well who are injured from this attack. And as families, our thoughts are with them as well. I really hope and wish them a speedy recovery. I'd like to thank the uniformed services who always do such a great job. Thank you to the police. Thank you to the emergency services. Thank you for everyone who did so much. And that gap that I have in my life, that was Grace. She did love Nottingham. When I asked her to come down home last week, she said, a few more sessions, as I said yesterday. She loved going out in your town. She absolutely adored her friends and family. This is one brilliant university town, and this is a great university that she went to. She had so many good friends and such great memories. She was so looking forward to coming back for her second year, and she would have been a junior doctor serving you and your lovely city in the hospital here, and that's been taken away from us. But thank you so much for being here, and everyone who is doing so much for us in the background. I thank everyone who's doing that. Thank you so much, and thank you to Nottingham Council. The absolute thing I'm going to say is, honestly, imagine a world of just love and no violence. Just imagine that world.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we close this evening with some music from students from the University of Nottingham, I'm going to invite Councillor Sajid Mohammed, our portfolio holder for communities.
Thank you, everyone. I think we still need a couple of seconds to absorb the words family. If anyone has ever loved, then they would have been moved by the words of the families. Nottingham's love has been ignited by the lives of Ian, Grace, and Barnaby. We came here tonight to grieve and mourn, but we have also come tonight to give gratitude and thanks for their lives. In these dark days for both families and for this city, it is the light of your courage and their lives that has led to unity and has led to love. I want to reassure everyone that the light and hope and service of Ian, Grace, and Barnaby is in everyone's heart and will be in the actions of this city. Their light and love and hope will be the principal guidelines for this city to transform and keep transforming, for a city where everyone can thrive, a city where everyone can be their best, a city where everyone can be proud of who they are, a city of love, a city that is together. I want to reassure the families and this city that the light of their love, hope, and service is embedded in every police officer, NHS worker, into the City Council, and into the very heart of Nottingham. And it is this light and this commitment will keep Nottingham safe going forward in the next weeks and months. It is their light of hope and service that will unify us, whether we're black or white, faith or no faith, gay or straight, disabled or abled, or young and old. We are one Nottingham. We are one family, and this is our home. I want to reassure the families and everyone in this city that their light of love and hope, their lives of love, compassion, and understanding will heal this city and make it bigger and stronger. I just want to end by thanking everyone. Nottingham is one city, one family. Nottingham is together. Everyone has their place, everyone has their role, everyone can contribute to this city. In these moments, we need to reach out to our neighbours, to talk to a stranger at the bus stop or on the tram, to have those conversations at the kettle or the water tower, and just reassure everyone that this city will stand together. Ian, Grace, and Barnaby, let angels take flight and sing thee to rest. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. We're now going to close the event with some music from students from the University of Nottingham. Thank you.
Tell me, where is the road I own, my own, that I left, that I lost so long ago? All these years I have wandered. Oh, when will I know? There's a way, there's a road that will lead me home. Rise up, follow me, come away, the cold, with the love in your heart, as the only song. There is no such beauty as where you belong. Rise up, follow me, I will lead you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, that ends our event in terms of support and tribute to the families. Please have a safe trip home. Thank you.
Well, there we are, a student choir ending another very emotional vigil in Nottingham, this one in Nottingham City Centre. Last night it was at the university. This one, more people from across Nottingham could come and mourn those who died in these awful attacks on Tuesday. And once again, we heard from members of the families of those killed. We also heard from civic leaders, from church leaders, and but it was the speeches of the families that were gut-wrenching and extraordinary. And we heard from the family of Ian Coates for the first time, and they thanked everyone for support and for messages, and they said that their father was an avid fisherman. Let's just have a listen to what his sons had to say.
It feels like he's touched a lot of hearts over the years, more than what we assumed and knew that he had. So it's been really nice and heartwarming to see the messages and the people come out and talk about how he was when they were younger and how he's helped them. Some beautiful comments. We just wanted to say a quick thing, like we're still dealing with what's happened, we still haven't took it all in. So we just wanted to say a few things. Just like my dad was an avid fisherman, he loved his family, and he also loved his forest. You read?
You read.
And then the mother of Barnaby Webber, Emma Webber, also came up to the microphone, and she said that he was more than a victim of a senseless murder. He wanted to be an RAF pilot, she said, and he had been torn away from the family, torn away from his brother Charlie. She said, Nottingham, he really loved you. He loved reading history, but he loved being part of the cricket team more. And I think we can have a listen to what Emma Webber had to say.
So today, we stand here and we feel your love, and we're united in grief and shock and disbelief. And one day we will smile again, but it will take time.
And she also spoke of the man, the suspect who was being held by police, and she said, this monstrous individual, this evil person, she said, will not define us. And then she added at the end, but please do not hold hate because of colour, sex, or religion. And when she said that, there was applause. That was Emma Webber, Barnaby's mother. And then the family of Grace came up to speak. Her mother began, Sinead O'Malley, and I think we can have a listen to what she had to say. I'm sorry, we can listen, first of all, to what her father, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, had to say.
We were 4, and we are now 3. And the same for Barney's family. They were 4, and they're now 3.
Yes,
I speak as a broken-hearted father. I love my Grace.
That was the father, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, speaking there. And then we also heard from Grace's younger brother, James, who said that Grace was not just a sister, she was a best friend. I urge you all to cherish every moment with your loved ones because you never know when it will end. And we also, as I was saying, heard from Grace's mother, Sinead O'Malley, who said, I just want to say my beautiful baby girl was a treasure. She wanted very few things in life. She wanted to be a doctor and she wanted to have fun. And then she said, and she was just walking home. And then she said, please say prayers for my baby girl. So the families, once again, contributing to the vigils that are being held in Nottingham in a very emotional way. Becky Cottrell is with me here, and, well, it's just been another hugely emotional moment.
Yeah, it was just so raw. I mean, you and I both listening to it, we're tearing up. I mean, these families must still be in shock, and we're just watching their grief play out. I think it's remarkable that they can be so eloquent talking about this and paying tribute to their loved ones at a time like this. And I felt particularly moved looking at the younger brothers of Grace and Barnaby. James, Grace's brother, spoke. Charlie, Barnaby's brother, didn't, but he was stood there holding what looked like a school picture of Barnaby, and he was just crying throughout his mother's speech. It's just, I mean, it's hard to get your head around.
Yeah. Right, what about the investigation? Where are we on the investigation?
So the police have got 36 more hours to question the suspect. They will, of course, be trying to work out what the motive for this was. Counter-terrorism police are helping with the investigation, but police are keeping an open mind, particularly looking into the mental health of the suspect. We've also learned today that the suspect was a former student at the University of Nottingham, but it's not believed that that fact is related to the attack. And the university actually said they were devastated to learn about this. They are mourning two students, but also now learning that a former student could have been responsible. Nottinghamshire police have also referred themselves to the police watchdog after revealing that officers in a marked car were following the van that the suspect was in at one point. He hijacked that van from Ian Coates after stabbing him. So the police now have referred themselves to the watchdog over that fact.
Right, and the Home Secretary was visiting Nottingham today to pay her respects and to thank the emergency services.
Yeah, and she'll be getting an update as well on the investigation. You can see her there in those pictures, laying a wreath there, along with all of the other flowers. It is right that she should have gone there today. And as you say, she will be thanking the first responders who were on the scene.
And she made the point that the police still have an open mind about all this.
Yeah, exactly. And we were discussing earlier that, you know, by this point, in circumstances like this, it might be starting to be clear what was behind this attack, but it just seems so senseless, so random. You know, students walking on their way home from a night out, Ian Coates on his way to work. Why did this happen? And the family's now talking there. I was just thinking, you know, these were people going about their everyday lives, and now they're standing in front of a crowd having to talk about their children, their father, having been killed. It is just so senseless.
Yeah, and Emma Webber, Barnaby's mother, making this point at the end of her speech at the vigil: please do not hold hate because of colour, sex or religion.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that got a big applause. You know, I think for the families, they will want the focus to be on remembering their lost loved ones. They will not want anything to be seized upon, anything to be misconstrued. Not to say, of course, that she herself isn't filled with hatred and anger right now, as you mentioned, talking about the suspect, describing them as an evil individual, but saying as well that his actions will not define this situation, will not define them.
OK, Becky, thank you very much. So we've had the second vigil in 2 days, and we're just seeing there, or you just saw there, the families making their way out of the city centre square, and it is just impossible to imagine how they are feeling. That is it from the News Hour, and there will be much more at the top of the hour.